Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Tube. And it's time to talk about Star Wars Andor. And this episode of episode 5 is called The Axe Forgets. A very conveniently named episode as well. A catchphrase that not many people really use, but definitely understands. Welcome, Daniel Vance, to the stream. And before we start talking and breaking down this episode, first of all, my friend, Cousin Tito, what did you think of episode 5?
Overall, I thought it was good, but it is definitely proving that the show is a slow burn. But I don't think that it is a bad thing. I think that this is a good thing. There's enough tension there to keep my interest. But I'm glad next week we're getting into like the what is it the
The
heist.
heist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
heist. The heist of it all, you know. I really feel like they are doing like 3 episode arcs. Like each 3 episodes is a different like arc per se. Like the first one
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
the Andor arc where it's like he just, we get Andor and we get him off the planet. This one's going to be like
Escaping from the authorities as well,
yeah.
all of that,
And
yeah.
then this one's more of the heist arc where, they're getting ready to do that heist. So, I mean, I like what they're doing here. I'm not opposed to 3 episode arcs at all. Enterprise did that a lot in season 4, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it gave them ample amount of time to do storytelling as well. So they didn't have to cram everything into 40 minutes. Anyway, but yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I actually called it, by the way. I said last week that this episode will still probably be more set up towards the heist, and the heist will probably be next week from now,
Hmm.
with maybe the first half of the episode being the heist, and the second half of the episode maybe like the final quarter to third of the episode being the next scenario, so to speak. Maybe like the way Andor got into this ship with Luthen and traveled to that planet that looks like the Highlands of Scotland. Yeah, same here with this. After they steal all their money, maybe they go meet Mon Mothma. Who knows? So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I was thinking to myself how the rest of Star Wars society would take to this episode, because people complain about so many things, and here we go with something different, and some people are still not happy. It's like, oh no, this is dragging
And
out.
I think it's too much of a slow burn for Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans are not used to like the slow paced character building. Like next week we're gonna get a lot of pew pews. Next week is going to be the pew pew episode. I mean,
I do. Yeah, go on.
no, as I say, and I believe that's the right call because we need to get and a lot of these characters we're meeting are not going to make it out of this. I'm pretty sure.
Ex- exactly. I think it's fundamental, yeah, that we get to know these people so
Mhm.
that we feel their deaths when they happen. Because if we don't know them, then we won't give a fuck about them.
Mhm.
And to a degree, we've got to know some of these characters, some more than others. So we are going to feel their death. So this episode begins with Cyril. Now, I only noticed this when I watched the episode a second time. But Cyril, living with his mum on Coruscant, he's eating his cereal. And did you notice the one thing that Cyril had changed about himself compared to the previous episodes?
Mm-mm. I
He
didn't.
has he has an American accent.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I only realized that watching it the second time,
So do you
because
think
he
that's a
definitely.
flub, or do you think that he just stopped talking like that because he wasn't?
I do feel that the actor himself is British. I do think the actor is British, but I think the actor now is realizing that when it's a persona that he's putting on. It's I said, I always make sure you understand that the actor is British. I think the character of Cyril is um, somebody who has an American accent, whatever that may be in that part of the world.
So he
And
was playing up the accent to fit in with a lot of the upper
yeah, so to
echelon, I
speak.
guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that
he
means that
sounds like
somewhere
a
in the universe, the British actually matter. Ah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So he wants to sound like one of those. His mum obviously doesn't sound British either. She's got an American accent too. But what do you think of the space cereal they're eating? It looked like brown. It looked like chocolate and blueberry.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of looked like Trix.
Cocoa
like
Puffs and
yeah, like Cocoa Puffs, like blueberry
yeah,
Cocoa Puffs. Like
yeah,
in the blue milk. I mean, they always got to throw that stupid blue milk in there.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it
there's
would be
no other
Star
fucking
Wars.
milk in the galaxy besides the blue milk.
Well, when you are in the galaxy, there's a variety of milk, So
Well, that's what I'm saying.
uh,
Like, why is it always blue? Why can't it be like brown milk? Like, why can't it be a brown? Like, why can't it be a chocolate cow?
I'm not sure if I would like to have brown milk unless I knew it was chocolate. But Rabbit Hole Edie was played by Catherine Hunter, who also played Disney's Tron Uprising, where she voiced a character named Gorn, which was also the name of the Imp Lieutenant. The Imp Lieutenant. This episode, yeah, yeah,
Dude, you are
yeah,
rabbit holing, man. I love
yeah,
it.
big time. All right, so Andor he oh, by the way, sorry, before we're sticking with Cyril for a second, his mother's gonna call his uncle Harlow as a favor to so now this Uncle Harlow. There's a lot of speculation of who he could be. He might be working. He might be somebody who works in the Empire who can get him a job. He might be a bounty hunter. There's all types. He might be a gangster. You know what I mean? Somebody who works in the underworld.
I think he's going
Is
to be Imperial. I just have that feeling. Like,
okay. Fair enough.
I
So
just I wonder where they're going with this character. Like, I know he still has like the hollow with
yeah,
Andor on it. Like, so I know that Andor and him are going to meet again at some point. And I think the only way that's going to happen is if it's an Imperial, like his uncle's Imperial, and he convinces his uncle to let him go after him, or maybe it's a bounty hunter and he convinces his uncle to go after him as a bounty hunter. I don't know. I just
yeah. He
I
he
I
definitely got
like
hard
this.
on.
Yeah, like I like this character, but I'm kind of like, this episode for this character was not good, and I get it. It just, the character was very stagnant in this episode, and not that I'm complaining too much because we got more Andor and we got more of the party and the heist party and what they're doing.
He's the wild card in my opinion. Like without doubt, and I do feel he needs to be brought down to earth before he can rise back up again. So I feel he will be that wild card. He will be the person who throw a spanner in the works, as we say in the United Kingdom, a monkey in the wrench, or whatever the fuck you say in America.
I don't even know
So
what we say
yeah,
over here. We don't even
yeah.
know what we say.
So Andor wakes up and all his shit is gone, and this guy called I think his name is Avril Skeen.
Avril
Has it?
Lavigne.
No, yeah, and yeah, Avril Lavigne, and basically he's going through all his stuff just to figure him out, and because he doesn't trust anybody, so that's why he's going through all this stuff. But whilst him and Andor are communicating, we finally hear the catchphrase, "The axe forgets, but the tree remembers," which is a fantastic catchphrase, which not many people use. Basically saying the people who cause the atrocities, they tend to forget. A bit like M Bison did in Street Fighter. For Chung Li, it was the most important day of her life, but for M Bison, it was Tuesday. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And same with the Empire, like they fuck people over and then they forget about it. But those people who get fucked over will never forget about it. But this time, basically, Scheme wants the rebels to be the axe, and that's his plan. You know.
Yep.
So we don't have much of Mon Mothma in this episode, but
I mean, this
she is
was
having.
this was definitely there. There was not a lot going on, as I said, with any of the sub characters in this one. It was not, I don't want to say sub characters, but like other characters. Like, this was definitely about Clem, or AKA Andor, and the crew. Like, as I said, we did go cut away to the other people a little bit, but not a ton.
Yeah, I agree. So Mon Mothma's having breakfast, and she wants to take her daughter out with her to a diplomatic event. And her daughter doesn't want to go with her; she'd rather go with her dad. And we kind of see the sort of dynamics of the family. Like, Mon Mothma's daughter doesn't like her. She's kind of like she's very distant with her husband. I mean, there's not really much of a relationship there, you know. Even when she's like pleading for her daughter to come with her, the husband just stays silent, doesn't even get involved, like doesn't back up the mum as a parent should do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel that disconnect Mon Mothma has with her family. And somebody mentioned earlier as well that this is like a parallel to how her life will be. Like, she'll be ganged up upon, like it'll be her versus everyone, like the rest of the world. and she's already facing that within her own family, with her husband and a daughter against her.
And
So
I feel like her family, like I think the thing that's going to push her out, like, and to like just go all in with the rebellion. I know she's all in right now, but she's like working the inside. I think her family's not going to make it. I think they're going to kill her family, and then or her family may turn on her, and maybe that forces her out, and she's just like, you know what?
well, her husband is definitely somebody who is very much on the side of the empire, in my opinion.
That's what
You
I'm
can
saying.
put,
Like maybe the family turns on her, and then
yeah,
she cuts all ties. She leaves, and she goes and joins the rebellion. You know, lets the daughter stay with the dad because she wants her to be safe, even though the dad's with the empire. But it's probably safer than being on the run with the rebellion.
mm-hmm. So Kara shows an old navigation. Karis is one of the rebellion kids, by the way, like the youngest one of the group, I believe.
Yeah.
He shows an old navigation device that can't be hacked by Empire tech. So obviously this particular device in the heist, I think will have its will have its place in the heist. And
Oh yeah.
Andor
He made
then
a very big point of pointing that out.
yeah, Andor is then tested by the rebels regarding a cargo vessel, and that particular vessel, Andor realizes the rebels don't know how to move, and then Andor demands to pilot that vessel. I mean, he calls them out. He susses the rebels out immediately,
Hmm.
thinking, you don't even know how to move this shit. You're thinking you're testing me, but you're not testing me. You ain't got a fucking clue. And I really like that. And then he started setting his own terms now, saying, okay, fine, if you want me, my ass is going to be on the line. I'm going to pilot that ship. So yeah. Dan Advance says, I love Nemec's insight as to technology role in suppressing freedom.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, technology and media. Like, I mean, look at the media nowadays. I mean, not to get political, but I mean, media does the exact same thing as the empire. Like, media and probably in the empire is the exact same thing as we have it right now all over the world, especially in
We have more
America.
division. In my opinion, we have more division through social media than we've ever had prior to that. Maybe it's very hard for me to tell, probably because it's I'm not old enough to remember everything, but at the same time, I do feel like I'm part of that generation that was analog to digital era. I grew
Yeah,
up.
there was definitely you were definitely a part of both. I mean, I would say I was a part of both, but I don't know if I was old enough to fully understand until the internet came along more more popularly. Because I turned 18 in 2001. So, I mean, there was still a bunch of analog going on back then. I think when Facebook came around is when things
Mhm.
really like the agendas really started getting pushed through like social medias and stuff like that.
Yeah, and now we unfortunately we because people can sprout as much bullshit as they want. No one knows what's fucking true anymore.
Yep.
And true and bullshit just sounds more not necessarily appealing, but it just sounds more interesting than real shit. So
Sometimes
anyway,
it sounds more real than the real shit though sometimes. And
yeah,
that's scary.
exactly, yeah. So we get to see the inside man for the rebels. His name is Lieutenant Gorn, and he keeps the privates who are under his command. He keeps them busy with menial tasks. The rebels are training to march like Imperial guards. And I've noticed this, by the way, throughout all of this, that there's not a single stormtrooper. They're all like Imperial officers,
Hmm.
which is a bit unusual.
Was there
Yeah,
Imperial office? I thought I saw stormtroopers in the base, like in the background. Maybe I'm thinking. I've been
maybe
Well, I've also been
I
playing
noticed.
Jedi Fallen Order, so it might have been in that game that I'm thinking of. So I don't know. By the way, check out Milk Toast Gaming.
So yeah. So
Shameless self plug.
and Endor basically gives them advice that they should march regarding what the dominant hand is. We see a Tie fighter now. We've been seeing Tie fighters throughout the history of Star Wars, from the very beginning of Star Wars, we've been seeing TIE fighters. But the TIE fighters in this episode, they were like Jaws the shark. You know what I mean? Like it's coming, like there was a real threatening presence of just seeing one of these things. The noise it makes, the fact that they're so isolated. and the screeching of it and everything, and it might blow their cover if it sees them. They have to pretend to be like farmers with four-horned sheep and stuff like that. So yeah, I like the sheep, by the way. Pretty cool aesthetics they did, giving them extra horns. I wonder what the meat tastes like.
I mean,
So yeah,
they probably just walked up to a random farm in New Zealand and just like, hey, we're
no,
gonna
it's in
film here.
Scotland. It's in Scotland.
Or I'm sorry, Scotland. They went up to a random field of goats or whatever in Scotland, and just like, we're gonna film here. They just end up the goats and.
So yeah, I mean they'll give them, they got Disney money, so yeah, no one's gonna really say no to that. So we get to see Deirdre, the female Imperial officer who wears the white outfit. She's the one who still believes that there's an organized attack against the Empire. She's still very much on that train. She can't shake it off, whilst her superiors and her equals are basically going down other paths. She still wants to go down this particular path, and thinks that the random attacks are too random to be random, which is an interesting comment. She even said to herself that if she was going to do an organized attack, this is how she would do it, by making everything look so random, which is clever. So she's still on that train of thought, and
I wonder if no, that's probably stupid. As I say, I wonder if she is a rebel. Like, I wonder if she's trying to sow.
Definitely not. She has ambitions. Deirdre mentions Hossein. I mean, if she is, it'll be one of the worst. It'll be a terrible twist if it did come out to be like that. Deirdre mentions.
I never thought it'd be good. I just said I wonder.
Hossein Prime, which later become the galactic capital of the New Republic, and is a system destroyed by Starkiller Base. Okay, there we go. So it's not got long left. Maybe about 30, 40 years. And then it's gone. So yeah.
Wait a minute. So in the sequel era, the sequel era, the Coruscant. I mean, I know they destroyed a planet with the Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens, but
it wasn't Coruscant they destroyed, but
I know it wasn't Coruscant, but I just thought they destroyed but Coruscant wasn't still the galactic capital. I didn't know that. I thought Coruscant was a galactic capital, but they destroyed that other planet because it was heavily populated and it was close. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was.
I honestly have no fucking idea. I'll be honest.
That Starkiller Base was a bunch of bullshit anyway. I mean, it wasn't even the same system, and it still shot it. You know how long it would take even for a laser like that to reach another star system? Technically,
the laser hole itself is the size of a fucking country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but as I said, but it still can only go the speed of light. You know what I mean? And that Starkiller Base is bullshit. The Death Star, if it can move, okay. But it's if it's firing from another system, that's J.J. Abrams was full of bullshit, because when Vulcan was destroyed and then they put Spock on the one planet where, and then when he watched. If Spock was on a planet that close to Vulcan when it was sucked up by a black hole, that planet would be gone. It would be falling apart. Anyway, sorry, that tangent over.
That's one of the biggest sacrileges in Star Trek, was destroying Vulcan, for fuck's sake. Deirdre drug use before digging into a couple more files reminds me of the Nazi use of amphetamines. Oh, she was taking drugs. I thought she just popped a couple of paracetamols. Fair enough. So this is an interesting thing now, because Lieutenant Gorn, the guy who's the insider for the rebels amongst the Imperials, he's telling his privates to paint this particular staircase, but he knows that these guys will want to see this sort of Halley's Comet sort of phenomenon that will be happening. He's very much aware of that, and he knows that. And these guys want to obviously see that, so he lets them off by saying, okay, fine, you guys can all go to see that on that particular day, which means that there'll be less guards guarding all the wealth.
He reverse psychology them. He basically it was good. I liked it.
So he said to them, fine, you can paint the stairs the following day, which means that the day of the heist there'll be less people guarding, which is which is a clever tactic, which is why they're doing the heist on this particular day. Um,
But
so
I like how he made it seem like he wanted them there so that when it does come
yeah,
up, hey, this heist happened on this day and so many people were off world, they'll be like, well, I mean, people requested to be off. It's not like he, knew that people were coming. I mean, I'm
yeah.
thinking the guy's probably going to leave with them, but I was like, maybe he's going to stay and like try to infiltrate some more. But if I were him, I'd be gone. Like as soon as that heist happens, I'd be with them.
So his reason for joining the rebels, because everyone has their own reasons, is that it was over the love of a woman that he lost, and I think he might have got demoted as well. He maybe used to be a captain and he became a lieutenant. Um, anyway, so Avril Skeen and basically nabs Andor's kyber crystal and demands to know why someone with so much money, because the kyber crystal's worth 30,000 credits, is working with
Which,
the
by the
rebels.
way, Skarsgård's character, I can't remember his name. Skard
Luthen.
Lufin said take no less than 50 for it. So it's funny that they don't even know the worth of it. Like, Skarsgård obviously knows, or Lufin obviously knows the worth of it, where the other guy's like 30,000. But it's like, wait a minute, Lufin said 50. So it's like even that guy's underplaying the value of that kyber crystal.
Well, the amount of money that they're gonna get for robbing the Imperial base. I mean, like I think Andor was offered 200,000 credits.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's gonna be getting some serious dough. Um. Anyway, so Andor basically comes clean and says, "Yep, being paid to be here. That's my purpose. I'm a merc. I'm a mercenary." So he put all his cards on the table, apart from giving his real name, of course, which he shouldn't do anyway. But yeah, he kind of basically explained his purpose. But we all know that at the end of the day, through Rogue One, that he will end up embracing the cause of the rebellion. So
Well, and the rebellion's technically not even the rebellion right now. Like it is called the rebellion, but like it's not the rebellion as we know it. And I do kind of have an issue with that, unless there's other things going on in other parts of like the galaxy, like because there's no way in 5 years that they went from whatever they got going on right now to like a massive fleet like in Rogue One. I do have an issue with that whole aspect of it, unless they pilfered all those ships. Which there's an interesting backstory behind the X wings and Y wings, and and stuff like that. But I really feel like it's hard for me to believe that they went from a ragtag group, and then 5 years later they are this like massive rebellion conglomerate. Like that's something that takes a lot longer because you got to
I
vet
agree, but
people
we
and
saw the seeds being sown also in Obi-Wan, which was 10 years before the Battle of Yavin.
I
So,
know, but still, and I have issues with that too. But I mean,
but
it was a nice character to see.
but
But
remember, this whole thing is happening around the galaxy, so it's various places that all these sort of seeds are being sown,
well,
and
and it may be,
yeah,
and there may be more of a rebellion happening elsewhere. Like if all of a sudden Andor leaves with Lupin or whatever his name is, any Lumen or any goes and
Luthen.
then they're like, hey, we're taking you to the rebel base, and there's more going on there instead of this just like ragtag group of farmer looking people and some other stuff. Then okay, then something's already been brewing for a long time. And you're right. Like Obi-Wan was 10 years prior, so that's 5 years before this. So they probably do have much bigger operations elsewhere, more than likely. I just would like to see it by the end of the series. And I'm thinking we'll get into that after this arc is over.
Hello, Jim. Yeah, for sure. But I think with all the money they're going to steal, and then when word goes around that what they've done, they really like that. This is a real. What they're going to do, in my opinion, will be a massive blow to the empire. Stealing all that money, all that wealth. I think it will inspire people all over the galaxy. That the empire can be fucked with. It's like a show of weakness from
Well,
the empire.
and isn't it a quarter of the entire imperial payroll
That's
So
massive.
we're talking about credits that are due to go out to every, I'm assuming every stormtrooper, every officer, every petty officer. So yeah, like we're probably talking millions upon millions of credits. I mean, he just dropped, like he said, I'll give you 200,000 credits for this, like it was nothing. Like that's the impression I got. So I'm thinking we're looking at millions upon millions of credits for the rebellion, and they can do a lot with that in 5 years probably. But
Yeah, a quarter of the entire Imperial payload would easily fund the rebels, and then some.
yeah,
So
well, at least for a
so
while. I mean,
okay. So unfortunately, we never got the dinner scene. By the way, Jim is still mowing in the dark. You need to put those Sam Fisher goggles on, mate. Sort everything out. Um, okay.
hi, you're listening to Mowing with Jim here on NerdTube Mania.
So unfortunately, we never got this dinner scene, which I was really looking forward to, because it seemed like some of Palpatine and the Empire hierarchy, not necessarily Palpatine himself, but some of his understudies and Empire hierarchy was going to be at this special dinner with Mon Mothma and her husband, but we never saw that dinner. And it was supposed to be at their house, but it seems like Mon Mothma and her husband was driving away from their house. Yeah, by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm. Quick question for you: would you, like, in regards to Mon Mothma, when things kind of start going sideways for her, do you want to see Palpatine, like, not like him showing up as the Emperor going and then like electrocuting her with his hands, but like, would you like to see like her being brought before like Mon Mothma being brought before Palpatine and questioned, or anything like do you want to see Ian McDermott come back as Palpatine and actually have a conversation with Mon Mothma?
I wouldn't mind necessarily Palpatine, Ian McDermott's Palpatine being in this, but it's not necessarily in the sense that Mon Mothma has been captured. I think Mon Mothma is very good, will still be very good at playing both sides,
Well, that's why I
and I
said like
think
a conversation with Palpatine. Like, that there are some questions into your dealings with your
well,
accounts.
the Senate room with all the people in their pods and stuff like that, that
That'd be
would
a
be a
perfect opportunity as well.
good place to see Palpatine as well, because the Imperial Senate gets taken down at the very beginning of A New Hope.
Which is 5 years
So
from now, so they're still going.
yeah, they're still going. So yeah, but I mean, whatever happens, Mon Mothma has to survive all of this. Because
Yeah, but none of her family does. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, they're introducing a lot of characters that that are probably going to bite the dust. Which, as I said,
I don't think maybe her daughter she'll care about. I don't think she'll give a fuck about her husband. I don't think she loves her husband anymore. I think her and her husband have drifted apart, and I think her husband is chalk and she is cheese. They're
well,
not.
and that's why I think maybe he might be the one who betrays her and turns her in, and she goes on the run at that point. And that's where Mon Mothma and Andor meet, maybe on the run or whatever. Andor's the one that has to get her off Coruscant. Maybe that's like the final arc of season one.
I don't know about that. Maybe. I from what I've seen from some of the trailers, I think she'll be doing some. God damn it! Look at this. She'll be doing some. What do you call it? Like some reconnaissance. Like like she'll be mingling with the high and mighty and all of that. Yeah. Look, you see, as soon as she lands on my shoulder, like fuck you, I want to get on his shoulder. In it, you bully. But yeah, I do feel that's what Mon Mothma will be. She'll be interrogating and stuff like that. Mingling with the stars, being a bit what Luthen's doing, so to speak. She'll be like I think if anything, she'll take over from Luthen. Like she learns from Luthen. I think Luthen's definitely not destined to last the entire season. I think he will die, and
Yeah,
then Mon Mothma will. Yeah.
I agree. He's one that's on the chopping block. And that's sad because like they always do that with the characters that we love, because I think Skarsgård's an excellent character. Like
He's
the character.
fantastic.
Yeah, like that's why I'm like, oh, I hate it. They're gonna kill him, and I hate it, and I know it's coming.
So the rebels are camped outside the Empire's base, and they're ready to attempt the heist. Avril Skeen basically apologized to Andor in his own way by basically talking about a situation with his family and some pepper trees and how the Empire destroyed it. So that's his reason for joining the rebels, revenge. You know.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, and before I go on to Luthen even more, Daniel Vance has mentioned, yeah, I think Luthen's death is where we might see Palpatine. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Palpatine who kills Luthen, and that's where Mon Mothma maybe feels like she needs to pick up the baton and basically replace him. So
Yeah.
yeah, but Luthen's a
Solid
fantastic
theory.
character. You know,
Hmm.
maybe Luthen or I'm not sure if the what you call it is still around. The Inquisitors, they're still around, aren't they?
Maybe. I don't. I'm trying. Well, I think the Inquisitors are in Star Wars Rebels, and if that's canon, I think that takes place not incredibly long before A New Hope, and there are Inquisitors in there. So
Similar
they're
time, actually. Yeah, I mean, similar time to this, in
yeah,
my
that's what I'm saying. Like
opinion. Yeah.
I think there are Inquisitors still around.
So we finally we're coming to the tail end of this episode now. And we see Luthen on a space radio. It's got very World War II vibes, like twisting these knobs, and he's basically trying to intercept messages. And with the heist about to happen, he's just very much on edge, wondering if he made the mistake hiring Andor. And there's not much he can do from where he's sitting, but he's pretty much planned all of this. But he's now relying on other people to pull it off, and he's kind of, unfortunately for him, he's kind of put in this position now where it either works or it doesn't, and all of this could be the end or it could be the beginning. So, and
Yeah.
as we know, it is not the end; it is the beginning. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens next week, and I'm very much looking forward to it. With the beginning of Andor, just generally, like the first three episodes came out, so we've got a set up, build up, got characters, and then we got like a sort of mini finale, so to speak, with Luthen coming in and shootouts and stuff like that. We haven't got the luxury with the next three episodes. We've been watching them individually, one by one, so we've been getting a lot of character development. I think more so just to feel the impact of a lot of these guys dying, because a lot of these guys are gonna fucking die.
Oh
In,
yeah.
in my opinion, this is dirty. This is the dirty dozen, or in this case, the dirty half dozen, and we're gonna see a few of them getting capped off. I don't know who's gonna live at the end of this. It might just be Andor. I mean, they might all die. And it
It
might.
could be.
If it is just Andor who lives through this, that would be fucking brilliant. It really would be. You
See. I
know.
don't see. I don't ever agree with that. Like, I don't know. I don't think everybody should die. I think a bunch of people should. Like, because what they're doing is an impossible suicide mission, so not everybody's going to make it out. But like, only for one person to live is about. For me, it just doesn't seem right. Like,
Well, Andor's the one who has to pilot that ship. You
yeah.
know. So
I
if
think
he pilots that ship, that's his getaway.
I mean,
At the same
definitely
time,
the guy who
yeah.
stole the kyber crystal from him and his bag from him is going to die because he's out for revenge, and the people that are out for revenge always die usually. Um, I don't know if the girls are going to die because they're off doing their own thing, so I don't know. Maybe one of them will. Um, I think the kid's a 50-50. The kid's either going to die and motivate Andor to like buckle down with the rebellion, or the kid's going to live and he's just going to kind of be kind of a surrogate son, kind of not like Baby
Younger,
Yoda the
maybe
man.
younger, maybe younger brother, but
Yeah, like a younger brother to Andor.
all let's just see who we got here. We got the Indian chick, we got the white blonde girl, we got the black dude with the mustache, we got the black dude without the mustache who's the imperial officer. We got
I
the
think
skinny
he's gonna
white.
die. I think the Black Imperial officer. I think he's gonna die probably.
So we got so we got Avril Skeen, who's at the skinny dude who took the kyber crystal,
Yeah, I
and then
think
we
he's
got
gonna die.
Karis. So yeah, it is six people, Andor being the seventh. So I think, wow.
I think three. Like, I think three are gonna make it out alive. I honestly believe that.
So we're going to do our little, bingo jackpot lottery thing. I think they're all going to die. All of them, all six of them, all the whole fucking group of them are going to die. Either die or get captured and be tortured to death or whatever. But they're not all going to make it. I think the only person who's going to escape is going to be Andor. So
God, I hope not.
e-
It's just
everyone that drinks
it's too on
everyone
the
that drinks
nose
milk
with
will
Rogue
die.
One.
Yeah, to a degree, but like Andor never had anybody with him from this series.
That's because the series wasn't conceived yet. I mean,
Yes, I know that. I know that. So for that reason alone, I think they're all gonna die.
I don't think so. I think they'll just all eventually go their own separate way.
And
Like
and
in the rebellion, like they'll all be doing their own thing. They're not necessarily going to be on the same team forever.
well, look, anybody who we see from Rogue One in this series, like Sol Guerrera, we obviously know is going to make it. Mon Mothma, I believe, was in Rogue One as well.
Hmm.
So we know that these people are going to make it. So it's
Well,
the
Mon
ones
Mothma
who,
was in the character of Mon Mothma was in Return of the Jedi, so we know she's making it that far.
yeah, yeah. But the actress, the same actress, was also in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So we know she's gonna make it. We know Sol Guerrero is gonna make it. So that's why I feel everyone else is gonna die. So
Well, let me put it this way.
but
I
yeah,
don't think everybody's going to die in this heist. Like I mean, you might be right by the end of the season, but even then, like I just really hope not because I agree. Like it's almost a possible situation. So some people probably need to die to make it for stakes,
suicide
you know.
mission.
But
Yeah,
I don't know. I
it,
don't think everybody's gonna die.
it was a
I think it's
suicide
gonna be at
mission.
least half.
I'll tell you this: it was a suicide mission, and they were looking for reasons to cancel this. Even Andor says, "Look, you know who I am, but you guys are looking for a reason not to do this, and I don't want it to be your reason. If you don't want to do this, then we don't have to do this. But don't make me be the reason why you don't do this, because they know they're very hesitant and they're having second thoughts. They know that they're going to probably get captured or killed. So that's why they're shitting themselves about doing something like this. They're outnumbered, even on a day when there's not many officers. They're going to be outnumbered considerably. It's not like all these officers are going to be a million miles away. They're going to probably be just in a different part of the base where they can observe this fucking comet shit. And if they need to come back in a hurry, they will do. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how all this pans out. But yeah, I've seen a lot of these sort of heist movies, these Dirty Dozen movies from back in the day. Dirty Dozen was the original Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
All of this, and we saw in the Suicide Squad how many people have been killed in that.
Yeah,
You
but I
know,
mean, there's still like four people. Like out of what was it, eight? Like four people still made it out alive.
and that's because they're big actors. You know what I mean? You think they're gonna, you think they're gonna kill off Harley Quinn? If they killed off Harley Quinn, I would have been amazed. But we always knew that was never gonna happen. But the only person guaranteed not to die is Andor. You know. Well, okay, fine. You're gonna go with three? Any particular ones?
As I said, I think the Imperial Black guy is gonna die.
Mhm.
I think I definitely think the revenge guy is gonna die,
Mhm.
and either the young kid will die or one of the two girls will die. That's kind of where I'm at with that one. I think the bigger black dude, the
One with the moustache.
yeah, the one with the mustache. I'm saying it
Mhm.
like you, the mustache, and uh, the
The
leader
kid
chick, the one with the blonde hair. I definitely think they're gonna make it. Andor's gonna make it, obviously. And was there another one in there?
as the Indian chick.
I thought that's one of the two ladies, though. I
Yeah.
think one of them is going to die,
So you got two black guys, you got two white guys, and you got two women.
and then Andor.
And Andor. Yeah.
So I think one black dude, one chick, and one white dude is going to die. So I am an equal opportunity offender right here. Hey,
Okay.
we want balance across the board. We this is Disney. They want to be equal. They are equal opportunity people. So they.
Fair enough. It's Bridge over River. Is it Kwai? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, Alec Guinness. Yeah,
Why?
I remember. Yeah, I think loads of stuff like that. I think they blow up the bridge, didn't they? Yeah, 10 fracking lawns done. Yeah, you're damn right. You can say the F word properly, man. We're not a PG era here. But yeah, even though the stuff we watch tends to be PG era. All right. So, what are you gonna give this? What are you gonna give this episode?
I'm gonna give it a 7. As I said, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was. I don't even want to say lackluster because it wasn't lackluster.
It was set up.
Huh?
It was set up.
It was set
Ella?
up. So I mean, but at the same time, I don't want to make it sound like it was a disappointment at all because, as I said, I really enjoyed the episode, the building. I mean, these characters we're gonna probably lose them. I don't know. I'm kind of sticking with a 7 out of 10. We didn't get any pew pews, which I love so much. But I know it's not all about pew pews, and I know we're getting all of our pew pews next week. But yeah, I don't know. I'll stick with a 7.
All right, Daniel Vance says not a single action sequence, but still getting a 9 out of 10. The force is strong with this one.
Wow.
I
Okay.
am also going to give it a 7. Like, I knew this episode was just like and I did call it last week by saying that, yeah, this would probably be a more setup than episode 5, and then we're going to probably get the heist in 6. And that was definitely the case. So, I think the heist will pretty much begin the episode. And
Oh yeah, it'll go right into it next week.
but I don't think it'll be the whole episode. I think by the end of episode 6, the new story will begin. Whatever that may be, and we might get a little bit of a cliffhanger on top of it as well. I mean, I do recall this show being only 6 episodes at one particular point.
No, it's
It's always been 12. I thought the other
yeah, I
6
think it's
episodes were
12.
supposed to. I always thought the other 6 episodes were supposed to be season 2, and they combined them.
No, I think it's 24, and they are 2 12-episode arcs or
Okay.
2 12-episode seasons.
Fair enough. So yeah, but I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. It's okay for what it is, and I understand where it's going. The wheel wasn't reinvented, but we got some more character arcs, and as somebody like us all, we watch plenty of film. We kind of understand why all this character development was done, because they want us to feel the tragedy of losing these guys when they get killed or when they get captured. So it's going to be, or maybe when they turn, there might be, who knows, like the skiing guy, he might be the spy all along, coming across
Maybe he's playing the
somebody.
long game to catch them in the
Yeah,
act.
exactly. So there's a whole bunch of shit going on here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to next week. But this episode only gets a 7 from me. So tomorrow, as you all know from Star Wars Today, tomorrow will be Star Trek Lower Decks episode 8, I believe. Is that where we're at now?
I think we're at 7.
7? Okay. So yeah, join us for that. And obviously then Friday, She-Hulk, should be Daredevil time for that. And then on Saturday, we'll be doing Lord of the Rings. Now, I'm not sure if we can do this on Sunday, but I've heard Werewolf by Night's already out.
It's already out?
I heard it's already out. Oh no, it'll be coming out tomorrow. I think it's coming out on the 7th of October. So I'm going to try and get a review, and I'll see who I can rope in and do a review for that on Sunday.
I can't remember. Is that a movie or a show? Like, is it a?
It's like a 1 hour extended sort of thingy.
So it's like a 1 episode, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. All right. So to everyone out there on YouTube land, and if you're watching through Facebook and everything else, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. You'll see us tomorrow for some Star Trek. And as I always say to anyone who's watching Star Wars, live long and prosper. Bye-bye.
Bye.